Okay, hi, Phil here. We're going to make a pizza dough using cake flour. Now that might sound a little odd. We're going to try it because in these days it's really hard to source bread flour because a lot of people are doing baking at home here in Japan, and so it's very difficult to find flour for bread making. But what's the difference? So we have some cake flour here. The Japanese, don't worry about the Japanese, but it's basically for cake, maybe tempura, because it's a type of flour that's very, very low in protein compared to regular bread flour. Bread flour ranges between 12 to 14% protein. On the back here we can see, you'll just have to trust my my reading here. It's 9.2%, 9.2 grams per in this case per 100 grams, so that is 9.2% protein. Okay, so but we're going to give it a try and see what comes of it. I basically already know kind of what to expect, but I'd like to show you the results. So we're going to do this video also in two parts. Part one is I'm just going to make this dough as quickly as possible. You can watch my other dough making videos to show the technique, but I'm basically going to do this in fast motion so you don't get too bored. But I'll tell you what I have here. I have 500 grams of cake flour. I have 340 grams of cold water. I have 14 grams of salt. I got my yeast. I'll tell you how much I put in a moment, but stay there. I'm also just to add a bit of flavor, which is and the protein level on this is pretty low too. I think this is oh no, this is nearly the same as a bread flour, 14 grams, so 14%. This is a whole wheat flour. This is whole wheat flour. So we're gonna just add a little bit of this, just to eyeball a little bit into it. So, and this is mostly just to get, again, I love to put just a little bit of whole wheat flour just to give it a little bit of a nuttiness to it. So we're going to add just a little bit of whole wheat flour. Okay, I'm going to add some yeast. So this spoon here is half a teaspoon. So I'm not going to use half a teaspoon. I'm going to get about that much, which is probably going to be about not even a fourth of a teaspoon. That's probably about an eighth of a teaspoon. So that's about an eighth of a teaspoon of yeast. We're going to put that in. And I'm going to just add a little bit of this flour here for now, because I just want to massage that yeast all around and get it nice and dissolved with just a little bit of the flour to feed it. Okay, so one of the differences with cake flour you'll always notice is it's clumpy. It's very clumpy. And but we don't really worry about that when we're making pizza dough because we give the pizza dough a few rests, usually 10 minutes between kneading. So that comes into play with allowing the moisture to spread throughout the flour. And so those clumps begin to disappear very, very, very much by themselves as time goes. Okay, so I think that's kind of mixed up. So I'm going to go ahead and add about half the flour, squeeze that in. Okay. Okay, so again, this is cake flour, so it's going to be very, very, very soft in compared to a bread flour. Bread flour has strength because of that protein. So I'm going to go ahead and add my salt here. I'm going to mix that into the what looks like batter right now. So just going to mix that up. And I'm going to get my scraper here. Just keep my scraper handy here. So I'm going to go ahead and add almost all of my flour, except as I always do, just a slight handful for bowl cleaning and finger cleaning later. So Just go ahead and squeeze all that in. Go ahead and turn this into a dough. Working with this small amount of dough, the standard techniques that I use for a large amount of dough don't really use the same technique, so I end up using more of my fingertips to grab dough and push it into itself. So again, this dough is got a lot of water in it, so because of the extra water, it can be a quite sticky dough. But if you've watched my other videos, like I said, the more water you add to a dough, the better. Now this dough I'm making for. I would normally be making this dough for a wood-fired oven because I've added no sugar and no oil to it, so I'm going to stick to that. But however, on Friday I'm actually going to bake it in the oven that's right behind me here, that oven right there. So you'll see how that plays out. So I'm going to go ahead and just give this some kneads, get it going together. Okay, I'm just going to clean my hands off one last time here. And like I said, it's kind of a sticky mess. We're going to let that rest for about 10 minutes. Okay, so we've let this rest for about 10 minutes. That's the clump you see here. I left it covered with this. So all I'm going to do is just kind of lift that up and give that another bit of a knead. Mia's doing a video for me right now. Just a moment. Okay, just give that a quick knead. Looks like it's pretty soft, but it's manageable. And I'm using the tips of my fingers, not using the heel of my hand because it's just a small amount of dough. Okay, I'll give that another rest for another 10 minutes or so. Okay, this has been sitting around for another 10 minutes. So again, now I'm just gonna scoop that dough onto itself. See it, because it's a cake dough, it's a lot more, how can I say? It seems to be a lot more free. So, but it is sticking it to itself. It's getting smooth. I think it's not too bad. I think it's going to produce a pretty good pizza. So, what I'm going to do with this sticky thing is I'm going to divide it into 3 equal parts. So it's going to be roughly about 280 grams each. So I'll be making 3 pizzas, 280 grams each. And I'm going to put those into individual containers and let those ferment for 2 days. That's roughly, well, almost 2 days, because it's around, it's a little after 5 p.m. here, 5:30, 5:35, 5:39. It's 5:39 here, and I'm going to be, and this is Wednesday, so we're going to be using this on Friday afternoon at lunchtime. And we'll be cooking it here in this oven right here. Okay, so we'll see how it goes. Again, this is very moist. It's about 68-ish percentage baker's percent in hydration, so about 68% hydration. So, but it seems to be okay. Seems like it looks good. It's very soft, very moist, and I think that's what I'm looking for right now. That looks exactly what I'm looking for. I'm gonna go ahead and knead this just a little bit more. And I'm going to pull it out, and I will divide it into different into 3 different balls. So, okay, for now I'll leave it at that. The cutting and dividing and balling dough, you've seen me ball dough before, so I won't bore you with that. So I'll see you on Friday, and we'll see how this dough works. Okay. Thanks for watching.